Hello everybody. So many of you knew this video was coming on a day where the stock is down 10% on an amazing news. So the market really makes absolutely no sense yet again. It seems like the stock is still in a bit of a short squeeze. Anyways, today I want to talk about the HIMS acquisition of Trybe Labs, which is outstanding because it solves some of the issues that I had highlighted in my prior videos. One issue I had highlighted is that HIMS could only treat entry-level issues on their platform because they didn't have labs, they didn't do labs, and so there's things like you have a hard time treating if you don't do labs. Like you can't do primary care, you can't do a lot of diabetes stuff, you can't do a lot of HRTs such as testosterone replacement therapy, all of that sort of stuff. There's many medium diseases that you can't deal with if you don't have labs. And if you remember me covering LifeMD, I had said, well, LifeMD has something that HIMS doesn't have, which is their Quest partnership, and the Quest partnership is kind of a Uber for phlebotomists, which I think they charge close to $100 for that, where a phlebotomist comes to your house and draws the blood for you at your house. And LifeMD has decided to partner with Quest Diagnostics in order to do the labs. Well, HIMS takes it one step further, and HIMS, in my view, does much better than Quest Diagnostics on this. They took the disruption further by acquiring Trybe Labs, and I'm so happy to see this. In fact, I didn't even know this existed, so I'm very happy to see that. They're moving further in the vertical integration, and they're moving towards owning the entire health stack. In my view, their solution here is a better solution than partnering with Quest. And what is the solution? The solution is this little device, which is a device that you place on your shoulder, and you click a button, and when you click a button, it will draw the blood for you, and then you put the blood back in the envelope, and you send it back, and you get your lab tests like that. It's fully at home. You don't have to drive anywhere. You don't have to talk to a phlebotomist, you don't have to see a phlebotomist, you don't have to deal with Quest Diagnostics or any other lab, which, by the way, if you look up at the reviews of this lab, it's not like your local restaurants. The reviews of this lab is typically around a 2-ish, so this is not a cherished experience of most people's days to go to this lab, and you don't have to deal with humans of different skills, different training levels. The job of a phlebotomist, drawing blood, it's all about the skill level of the person doing it. If a person doesn't know how to do it, you may end up being in pain. Of course, with that system, it removes a lot of that randomness around blood draw because it's just a button. So let's see how it works. How does it work? You get your arm out, you disinfect your arm, then you take this little device called a lancet, you place this device, there's an adhesive behind it, you place it on your arm, then you click a button, it will do a little prick, just like people with diabetes have to do on their finger. It will do just a little prick on your arm, so less painful than mosquito bite, really nothing to speak of. And then you wait a few minutes, and a few drops of blood will drop over a few minutes, and it will fill this vial. And once you're done, you get the device out, you unscrew the vial, you put the vial back into the envelope, and you mail it back. And so with 1-day shipping, this could be a 2-day affair. This could be a 2-day thing where you just receive the package, put it on your arm, send it right back, and in 2 days you can get your results right away. So in my view, it's very competitive with going to a store, to a lab store, and getting your labs done. And let's look at the price. Let's look at their acquisition. And I expect the branding to change. This is going to be rebranded to HIMS, in my view. But let's look at all of this. Why do I find this so disruptive? So, of course, you have no reimbursement, which means you have zero complexity. I'll get to that in a second. Let's look at their package. This is their ultimate men's package. The ultimate best package does all of this. It says hormone, cardiac, stress, cholesterol, liver function, thyroid function, prostate health. That's a prostate cancer screening. And it's $229. You may ask, how much does it cost if you want to do it at Quest? Well, if you're good enough on the website and you go to the commercial section on the website, not the section with all of the codes for insurance companies, and you dig enough and you go through cookies, you go through 10% off, you go through allow location. This is not user-friendly. Anyways, you go through all of that, and then you get to see the individual prices. So the individual prices, so for the hormone test, this is what you would need if you gotta do a testosterone replacement therapy, that's $220. Cortisol, that's the stress hormone test, $89. Thyroid function, $49. Prostate screening, $69. Cholesterol, $59. And this is a cardiac marker for a sign of heart health, ordered sometimes by a cardiologist, that's 65. A doctor may argue whether all of these are needed or not, but the point is, if you can get them for cheaper, why not? And you have a physician's fee, a $6 physician's fee per test. So that's the nickel and diming business. And who knows if there are other fees when you go through checkout. I'm not going to do that for this video. I didn't go for a checkout, but who knows if there are other fees? Who knows where the other fees are? But anyways, if you add up all of these tests, 220 plus 89 plus 49 plus 69 plus 59 plus 65 equals $551. And then you have 6 times the $6 physician fee of 36. So your total is $587 with Quest Diagnostics versus $229 with Trybe Labs of HIMSS. Trybe Labs is a startup. The prices at Trybe Labs are not going to stay this high as they automate. And in fact, I wouldn't be surprised if HIMSS is able to just bundle the lab test in their offering. Wouldn't be surprised about that. So what I'm trying to say is that in Quest Diagnostic, by the way, they have more than 2,000 locations. Their competitor LabCorp has even more locations. This is 2,000 locations with tens of thousands of employees. These are automated shipping warehouses, which will probably be shared with the HIMSS 2 automated warehouses. So automated warehouses versus tens of thousands of employees, tens of thousands of locations with different, insurance payment, mortgage payment, rent, you name it, all of that sort of stuff. So to me, this business is just poised to take off. And let me address one of the criticisms, but with Quest, your insurance may pay for it. Well, it may, but if you want to find out how much your insurance is going to cover, you got to go on the other section of the website, the one where it deals with the code. And this is what it looks like. And so what you got to do is call your insurance, call your Blue Cross Blue Shield or whatever, and ask where they cover this code or that code. And with the insurance companies, one of the key jobs, for example, that pharmacists working on these insurance companies do is like deny tests if they don't think those tests are warranted. They'll look at what the doctor prescribes you as a test, and they'll be like, okay, we'll deny that test. We'll deny that test. That's oftentimes why these lab companies can't tell you what's going to be covered and what's not going to be covered. And that's oftentimes where you get your bill in the mail later down the road. It's always a surprise. And the key question, of course, is, do you want to take the risk, right? Do you want to take the risk? How many hours do you want to spend on the phone to find out how much you're going to be covered? What is your copay? And then do you really want to take that risk? It's kind of like going to a physical doctor in the real world. You go see the doctor, you need a prescription. You're paying $200 to find out whether you qualify for that prescription or not. With HIMSS, you're not paying that $200 to find out because HIMSS is not going to charge you if you don't qualify for that prescriptions. And also, do you want to take that risk of going for your insurance when right off the bat, the Trybe test, the company that HIMSS acquired, right off the bat is already 3 times cheaper. With volume, how many times is it going to be cheaper? Is it going to be 5 times cheaper? 10 times cheaper? You're definitely going to get lower than your copay, cheaper than your copay. And if you add the convenience to this matter, the fact that there's no appointment needed, granted, sometimes lab companies don't do walk-ins, sometimes, but the fact that you have no appointment needed, the fact that you don't have to be available on weekdays, because you see, this is the local Quest Diagnostic near me. They don't open on Saturday and Sunday, and they close at 5. So if you work a 9 to 5, you can't do it. You can't go with them. You have to take an afternoon off, and you don't have to drive there. This is all through the mail. So this fits the Amazon generation. This fits the customer-centric generation, the right away, right now, and cheap generation. The modern consumer, the consumer of the 21st century, wants things cheap, right away, and they don't want to have to talk to people, and it has to be remote. And so I ask you, what fits better of a Gen Z millennial habits? Is it driving to the local LabCorp, a 2.5 out of 5 rated on Google, and finding out later how much you pay? Or is it just receiving this little thing, tapping on your arm and sending it back? And in my view, it's very obvious that this one fits more than ever the new generation, the next generation. So let me summarize about the acquisition. We don't know how much they paid for it, or at least I didn't find it. Maybe if you know in the comment section, tell me. But they couldn't have paid more than $254 million because that's what they have in cash on hand. My guess is that they paid way less than that. I think this will be very accretive to HIMSS, whatever they paid, because this will allow HIMSS to launch, among other things, HRT treatments for men, because in that case, you want to have labs done. And HIMSS, of course, puts health first, contrary to what a lot of people say. They will not prescribe to anybody anything. The doctors on that platform are putting their liabilities at risk, and so they will do what they need to do. This is real medicine. This is real healthcare. And if you want to move into the medium issues, you need to have tests. You need to have at-home tests. And so these at-home tests, in my view, they will be very accretive to HIMSS, because HIMSS will be able to move up the spectrum of conditions, and they will be able to address not only more conditions, but also conditions that may cost a little more to cure. And so this is what HIMSS is going to do. And of course, this continues the vertical integration of healthcare. One company doing it all. That is the vision of HIMSS and hers. One company does everything. And so they are moving towards that vision. For example, as noted before, they are started making their own generic drugs. They're starting with liraglutide. They're making liraglutide like Teva Pharmaceuticals, okay? And they do compounded drugs, of course. So that's one profession right here. They are doctor visits provider, prescriber, provider of follow-ups. That's the job of the clinic. Then they have the pharmacy, of course. That's the business that started it all. So customizing, fulfilling, shipping, branding. They do the job of a pharmacy. So that's the job of your local clinic. That's the job of your local CVS. That's the job of your Teva Pharmaceuticals. A point that's never explored enough with HIMSS is electronic health record software. They don't use Epic software, the Epic Systems, which is like kind of a leader in that field. It's a private company that most doctors use. They don't use that. They use their own that they created from scratch. They created their own software. It's kind of like a Tesla that uses its own software. They have their own electronic health record software that works seamlessly with all of your functions. And now they're getting into the lab testing, and they're going to be a lab testing company with Trybe acquisition. Of course, they are getting ready for the next big thing, which is going to be AI. And when you incorporate AI on top of all of these functions, you can see how the competition is going to struggle to make all of these distinct parts with distinct CEOs, with distinct agendas work together when you have a company that will own everything and will be able to use AI on top of this layer of different functions. And they do all of this at the big benefit of having huge cost savings, in the sense that they have no physical footprint. I mean, they have a manufacturing facility in Los Angeles and two automated warehouses. That's next to nothing compared to the tens of thousands of pharmacies that are out there, compared to the thousands and thousands of lab testing stores that are out there, and they don't deal with insurance. And not having to deal with insurance gives you an edge, in the sense that you can move very fast. You don't have to wait 6 weeks to get reimbursed. You don't have to be denied by a pharmacist working at an insurance company. You move so fast. And I think that's really amazing that they add the lab testing company. They are expanding their moat. The stock is down. Why is the stock down? Probably because the market is thinking acquisitions bad. Still always that old Harvard study that hasn't been revisited in a long time. Actually, my take on acquisitions is that, yeah, they're bad, but when they're small, they tend to be good. So this is a small acquisition, and I think this is going to be very good for them. We're still in the middle of some kind of a short squeeze. I think the stock price is kind of pointless to analyze it. We have to wait maybe a month or 2 months to see where it will settle at in order to make an opinion. It's a long-term hold for me. I'm obviously not selling it, but I'm not buying either, because this is beginning to be a big position for me. I'm now at above a 10x on this one. It's trading at a 0.242. I've said before, I think HIMSS is a good deal until a 0.3. So maybe another 25% upside from here in the short term. But again, the stock could also become more expensive than what I think would be a cheap stock. And so, I wouldn't be surprised if this stock, just blew past that 0.3 mark and became more expensive, as people realize that this is a holistic healthcare story. This is a bigger story. This is not just a ED company, ED pill company. This is not just a hair loss company. This is not just a GLP-1 company. This is a holistic healthcare company and a revolution, in my view. And so I'm very happy to own this stock. It's obviously been doing very well. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. This was not investment advice, not financial advice. This is just entertainment, hoping you were entertained. Please like, please subscribe, follow me on Patreon, follow me on X. Thank you for watching, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.